Okay, so there's been a lot of things going on online about everything with the Epstein files coming out about Israel and how they're the Jews are the synagogue of Satan and all this crazy stuff. Well, I think God has given me wisdom or insight of some kind, and I've figured out the mark of the beast and who the beast is. For the last couple of days, I've been writing Bible verses to get a narrative of some kind, or I was trying to find at least every Bible verse that would capture the Antichrist figure, or what he looks like and how he proclaims himself, how he walks around. And so this is kind of what I wanted to point out here. So my first key point is in 1 John chapter 4 verse 3 says, "But every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist." 1 John 2 verse 22 says, "Who is the liar? It is whoever denies that Jesus is the Christ. Such a person is the Antichrist, denying the Father and the Son." 1 John 2 verse 23 says, "Whoever denies the Son does not have the Father. Whoever confesses the Son has the Father also." This means whoever denies that Jesus is the Son of God has the spirit of the Antichrist. 2 Corinthians 11:14 says, "And no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light." 2 Corinthians 11:15 says, "It is not surprising then if his servants also masquerade as servants of righteousness. Their end will be what their actions deserve." Matthew 24:24 says, "For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive many people, if possible, even the elect." Revelation 19:20 says, "But the beast was captured, and with it the false prophet, who had performed signs on its behalf. With these signs he had deluded those who received the mark of the beast and its image. The two of them were thrown alive into the fiery lake of burning sulfur." 2 Thessalonians 2 verses 3 and 4 says, "Don't let anyone deceive you in any way, for that day will not come until the rebellion occurs and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the man doomed to destruction. He will exalt himself over everything that is called God or is worshipped, so that he sets himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God." 2 Thessalonians 2 verses 9 and 10. "The coming of the lawless one will be in accordance with how Satan works. He will use all sorts of displays of power through signs and wonders that serve the lie, and all the way that wickedness deceives those who are perishing." Revelation 13 verses 1 and 2. "The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and then I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns, and on each head a blasphemous name. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear and a mouth like that of a lion. The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and great authority." The other thing is, and I'll explain it further on in this, but the thing is in Revelation 12, so before Revelation 13, it talks about the dragon, how the dragon, swallowed up the sea of the earth to spit out at the woman who gave birth to the child. And the way it's described, the way the dragon is described is, it refers to it as the ancient serpent, called Satan or the devil. But the thing is the way it describes it physically is the same as the beast. Both the dragon or Satan and the beast or the man have 7 heads, 10 horns, with 7 crowns on its head. But anyways, I'll continue. Revelation 13 verse 5 and 6. "The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies, and to exercise its authority for 42 months, which is 3.5 years. It opened its mouth to blaspheme God and to slander his name and his dwelling place and those who live in heaven. It was given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them. And it was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. Revelation 13, verse 16 and 18. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. Now here's another thing. So the reason why there's a lot of anti-Semitism is because the Star of David is a concept that actually doesn't exist. It was completely made up, and the origin of the symbol of the Star of David is the Star of Remphan, which was the demon or the idol that Jews and other groups of people were sacrificing and killing children to. Now, if we look at the Epstein Island, they're doing the same thing. They're sacrificing and killing children. They have a temple on the island, and we know that Jeffrey Epstein was an Israeli spy that worked for the Israeli government, and helped the Israeli government control the United States of America. Not to mention, Jeffrey Epstein also helped the Israeli government traffic children and eat them. Oh, but the other thing is the Star of David, or the Star of Remphan, is geometrically 666. It has 6 triangles, it has 6 points, and then it has 6 sides in the center, because in the center it makes a hexagon. So, but that's just another point. But I'll continue. Revelation 2, verse 8 and 9. To the people of the church in Smyrna write, these are the words of him who is the first and the last, who died and came to life again. I know your afflictions and your poverty, yet you are rich. I know about the slander of those who say they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. Now, I will talk about the Jewish Talmud as well, because there's a lot of things that, clarify that the Jews have a very demonic, or I guess you could say evil and wicked religion, the way that they practice certain things. But without a doubt, given the key factors that the Star of David is really just the star of an idol that they killed children to, and that the Jews adopt a star to this day, is automatically a warning sign that they're probably the synagogue of Satan if that star is geometrically 666, and everybody in government is either wholeheartedly supporting and meat-riding Israel or is a Jew. Everybody at the Epstein Island. Revelation 3, verse 9. I will make those who are the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, though they are not, but are liars. I will make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I have loved you. 1 John 2, verses 18 and 19 says, Dear children, this is the last hour, and as you have heard, the Antichrist is coming. Even now many Antichrists have come. This is how we know it is the last hour. They went out from us. Now this is really important. This is a really important factor here. They went out from us, but they did not really belong to us. For if they belonged to us, they would have remained with us. But their actions showed... but their going showed that none of them belonged to us. So, their actions showed that they didn't belong to God. They came out from God, but didn't really belong to God, because their actions showed that they did not belong to God. But there'll be more about that specifically. It went further on, because this is just all the verses. Now, I've accumulated the verses into a narrative. Daniel 7, verse 8. While I was thinking about the horns, there before me was another horn, a little one, which came up among them. This horn had eyes like the eyes of a human being, and a mouth that spoke boastfully. Daniel 7 verse 21, as I watched, this horn was waging war against the holy people and defeating them. Verse 25 of Daniel 7. He will speak against the Most High and oppress his holy people, and try to change the set times and laws. The holy people will be delivered into his hands for a time, times, and half a time, which is a time is a year, times is 2 years, and a half a time is a half a year. So it's 3.5 years. Daniel 8 verse 23 says, in the later part of the reign, when rebels have become completely wicked, a fierce-looking king, a master of intrigue, will arise. Verse 24 says, he will become very strong, but not by his own power. He will cause outstanding devastation and will succeed in whatever he does. He will destroy those who are mighty, the holy people. Daniel 8, verse 25. He will cause deceit to prosper, and he will consider himself superior. When they feel secure, he will destroy many and take his stand against the prince of princes. Yet he will be destroyed, but not by human power. Daniel 11, verse 21. He will be succeeded by a contemptible person who has not been given the honor of royalty. He will invade the kingdom when its people feel secure, and he will seize it through intrigue. The contemptible person is the Antichrist figure. He's the 8th king that leads the world into destruction. Revelation 6, verse 2. I looked, and there before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow, and he was given a crown, and he rode out as a conqueror bent on conquest. Revelation 17, verse 8. The beast which you saw once was, now is not, and yet will come up out of the abyss and go to its destruction. The inhabitants of the earth, I think this is the continuation of that, will go to its destruction. The inhabitants of the earth, whose names have not been written in the Lamb's book of life from the creation of the world, will be astonished. That's a key word. This is important. They will be astonished when they see the beast, because the reason why they will be astonished is because it once was and yet will come. I didn't put now is not. The reason why I didn't put now is not because at the time that John is writing this down, it would be now. It would be at that current time, or the time that God is directly delivering this to him. But it would be once was, now is not, and yet will come. But you get the point. Revelation 17, verse 10. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits. They are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen. 1 is, the other has not yet come, but when he does come, he must remain for only a little while. Verse 11. I don't know what... it's Revelation 17, verse 11. The beast who once was and now is not is an 8th king. He belongs to the 7 and is going to his destruction. Verse 12. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but who for 1 hour will receive authority as kings along with the beast. They have only one purpose and will give They have only one purpose, and they will give their power and authority to the beast. Revelation 13, verse 3 and 4. One of the heads of the beast seemed, now this is another key word, it seemed to have had a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. Now, the reason why I emphasize seemed is because seemed is appeared to or looked like, but that doesn't mean that there's 100% certainty. Okay? So it seemed to have had. So this is like from John's perspective of perceiving this. It seemed as though, but it was miraculously healed, So but I'll clarify more on that afterwards. To have had a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. The whole world was filled with wonder and followed the beast. People worshipped the beast, or people worshipped Satan because he had given authority to the beast, and asked, "Who is like the beast? Who can wage war against it?" Revelation 9:11. They had as king over them the angel of the abyss, whose name in Greek is Apollyon, which means a destroyer. Apollyon is Apollo. Okay, now I got a couple more, but it's on the other side because I ran out of paper. I ran out of paper going in that direction. Okay. Revelation 12, verse 3. Then another great sign. Now, this is the clarification that I made earlier. So, I mean, I don't really necessarily have to read it, but I will. But this is the clarification that Satan and the beast are identical to each other in appearance, in the way that they work. Then another sign appeared in heaven, and an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on its heads. There was more to it, but I forgot to write the rest. Verse 9, the dragon was hurled down. Yeah, that. Verse 9. Verse 9, the dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. Revelation 11, verse 7. Now, when they have finished their testimony, the beast that comes from the beast that comes up from the abyss will attack them and overpower and kill them. It's talking about the 2 witnesses in that one, I think. Yeah, Revelation 11, verse 7. Okay, now we got like one more or something. Yeah, Revelation 16, 17, and 18, I think. Yeah. The beast and the 10 horns you saw will hate the prostitute. They will bring her to ruin and leave her naked. They will eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Verse 17 says, "For God has put it into their hearts to accomplish his purpose by agreeing to hand over to the beast their royal authority until God's words are fulfilled." Referring to the 10. So when the 10 come to the beast, and they give all their power and authority to the beast, this process is also so that they can destroy the great city and the evil ways of the great city. But yeah. Verse 18, the woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth. Now, the great city is the United States. The reason why the great city is the United States is because it refers to the woman, and the woman is a woman who is adorned with purple and scarlet. And purple, there's a little bit of a symbolic thing there, because the American flag is built up of red and blue, which make purple, but purple represents royalty and power and all the things that, the government has been fucking doing forever. Fucking, getting rich off the fucking poor until it literally kills them financially and physically and mentally. But anyways, so the beast that she rides, it's kind of a metaphor. So it's like, the city is this woman, and the reason why it's a woman, it's the whore of Babylon. It's a woman because the city represents sexual immorality. It represents adultery. Okay? And so the beast has power over this great city that values adultery. Not to mention, there's multiple connections to the U.S. with it being Babylon. There's a song literally called Hollywood Babylon. There's a few of them called Hollywood Babylon, sung by a few different people. Um, there's been talk show hosts that have referred to the United States as Babylon. It's like a preconditioning type of deal, or not preconditioning. It's like programming, brainwash, so we can normalize it. We can normalize evil and accept it and not think twice about it. Oh yeah, Revelation 17:11. The beast who once was and now is not is an eighth king. He belongs to the seven and is going to his destruction. Okay. So with all that being said, and I might edit this, I might not, but if I do edit it, I'll put clear key points, like screenshots and pictures of certain things that support what I'm saying also. If I can't, then you have to do all the research yourself. But I'll make points out, and I also have like certain Epstein file PDF things too written in here. That way I can, I have like some kind of evidence. That's like one of them. It's only one. But there's other things too. I have verses from the Jewish Talmud that talk about child sexual immorality and all sorts of different things. The Antichrist figure. The Antichrist figure is a man who once ruled from the seven, but was out of the five that fell from power. Yet he would rule again. Satan would give this man all his power and authority. Once done, this man would work in accordance of how Satan works, by masquerading as an angel of light, or a servant of righteousness, and anyone who followed him would be worshiping Satan, because Satan worked through the man, and the man worked on behalf of Satan. He will deceive many into believing the lie, even people elected by God, through signs that prosper wonder, and words of arrogant and deceptive intrigue. And he would make it look as though he was struck fatally, but will only be a display of power that serves the lie, and will make people follow him, and give birth to the idea that he may be unstoppable. This type of intrigue will lead to his second ruling. He is the eighth king that belonged to the original seven, but he will rule over the remaining seven and the 10 kings. Not only that, but he will change the set times and laws of the great cities' Babylonian values, destroying certain kinds of evil, wickedness, and sexual immorality, but only to serve the lie and deceive God's holy people into feeling secure and at peace, as if nothing can go wrong. Sorry, let me reread that. I've been having a sinus infection. Yeah, so I'm gonna reread that because it was kind of jumbled. It was kind of like, and I've been struggling a little bit. Okay. He was the eighth king that belonged to the original seven, but will rule over the remaining seven and the 10 kings. Not only that, but he will change the set times and laws of the great cities' Babylonian values, destroying certain kinds of evil and wickedness and sexual immorality, but only to serve the lie and deceive God's holy people into feeling secure and at peace, as if nothing can go wrong, to trust the lie that he is an advocate from God. They will believe anything he says or does because they believe the lie. The lie is he's an advocate for God. But sudden destruction will come upon them that will deny the lie's greatness and oppose a threat to it and the man. The second beast will work on behalf of the man and will create an image in honor of the man and give the image life. The image will wage war against God's holy people on behalf of the man who appeared to have had a fatal wound but was healed. The image could speak, and it spoke like a man, or Satan, and worked the way the man wanted it to. It would deceive the people into believing anything it said, just like the man or Satan, which caused people to trust in it, deceiving anyone who trusts in it to receive the mark of the man or Satan. But whoever did not receive the mark was to be killed. But all who received the mark were rebels against God, signing over their temple that God inhabits and their will that comes from God over to the man and his image, making himself like God by having possession of the will of others, so that he will be worshipped like God, making himself most powerful. He will sit in Satan's throne and will have power over people's bodies, which is God's temple. Okay, and now I have a clarification down here. The angel of destruction is the dragon, and the dragon is Satan. The beast is identical to the dragon, who is Satan, but the beast is a man. The man is the angel of destruction. Now, basically, what I'm saying is if the man has been given all of its power and authority, and it's thrown by Satan himself, and he works on behalf of Satan and masquerades, and he works in accordance of how Satan works, like it says in Scripture, then he's going to either masquerade himself as an angel of light or a servant of righteousness. Now here's the thing. If all who follow the beast are worshiping Satan, then that means that the angel that is Satan, that serpent, is in fact that man. He is the spiritual being, or I guess I should clarify here. His spirit is the spirit of the angel of destruction, if he is empowered and enthroned and has all the authority from Satan himself. So then it goes into the mark of the beast. Now I'll get to it, but now I'm going to say who it is, because there is a figure who kind of sounds exactly like this, and I think it's Donald Trump. But this is what I wrote. This figure is Donald Trump, and why? Trump's massive support for Israel is one reason why. Israel is a Jewish government. The Jews are rebuilding a third temple. Not only that, but the star that they put up as the face of their religion is called the Star of Remphan. Remphan is an idol that the Jews and many other groups of people killed and sacrificed children to. The star is a 6-point star with 6 triangles and a hexagon in the center, which has 6 sides, and geometrically is 666. The Jews deny the Son, therefore they have the spirit of the Antichrist. They teach what you can and cannot eat in the name of their religion. They drink okay, so here's the other thing. So in the Jewish Talmud and certain Jewish practices, this is where it becomes kind of demonic. And I'm surprised that I'm just now seeing this, because it's like insane to me that Donald Trump is quite literally putting up a Christian front, because he is almost fucking meat-riding Israel. He is so wholeheartedly supporting Israel. And if you take yourself back for a minute, if God says that the Jews are the synagogue of Satan, and then you look at the history of why, and then you read the Jewish Talmud, what you can get your hands on at least, it's completely, quite literally obvious why Jesus is saying that these people are the synagogue of Satan. But here is a practice that the Jews do. In their religion, they drink the blood of a circumcised baby's penis, and is called metzitza. Also in the Talmud, it says things like, in Gad 2, verse 2, a Jew may violate but not marry a non-Jew girl. Sanhedrin 54b says, A Jew may have sex with a child as long as the child is less than 9 years old. So, like, it's promoting sexual morality. So then when they're over, all the Jews and everybody who converts to Judaism is over on that fucking Epstein Island and is doing this very thing, they're just practicing the religion at that point, which it really isn't fucking surprising. Like, it's not surprising anymore. They are doing something that a religious thing teaches, and then they only look at what they've been doing, and it's it's like a fucking hypocrisy. Like, yeah, let's fucking support Israel, but let's fucking get rid of Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, wait a minute. Like, that makes no fucking sense. That literally makes no fucking sense, because how you gonna support something that literally fucking is sexually immoralizing children in the most ungodly fucking manner? How are you going to support them? How are you going to support anything they represent? So this is why when... now, Trump hasn't directly did this, but this is the part where he's deceitful. He's a master of intrigue, right? The fact that he supports Israel and the fact that he converted to Judaism 2016, 2017 area... this is a complete contradiction, because how can somebody who is proclaiming to be an advocate for Christ convert or be associated or even fucking support a religious government that has anything to do with fucking children and killing them and drinking their blood? Like, how the fuck can you even support that? That's where I'm like, what in the fuck is going on? How the fuck are we supporting Israel? This is why I was like, dude, Donald Trump has to be the fucking Antichrist. Because there's no way in hell that somebody would promote Israel as much as he does and support God. Because God calls them a synagogue of Satan. Not to mention, they look at all other people who are non-Jews as fucking slop. Literally as fucking dirt on their fucking shoes. They think that they're fucking superior. So when Trump is talking about Christ or anything that God does, he's automatically slandering and blaspheming his name and everything that represents God, everybody that dwells in heaven and the holy people, because he is a hypocrite. He is creating and festering a hypocrisy and deceiving many into believing into the hypocrisy. He's over on the Epstein Island fucking kids, but then he proclaims Christ. That's not how that fucking works. But yeah, it says things like, I don't remember where I left off. Yeah, the last thing I said is, and it says in Sanhedrin 54b, a Jew may have sex with a child as long as the child is less than 9 years old. Baba Miza 114b, Gentiles are not humans. They are beasts. Yebamoth 98a, all children of Goyim. Goyim are non-Jews. That's what that word means. But Goyim are animals. So non-Jewish people are fucking animals. The children of non-Jewish people are fucking animals. That's fucking, like, that's crazy as fuck. Literally, that's crazy as fuck. And we've just been, like, meat riding Israel thinking, yep, Trump's gonna save the fucking day. He's unstoppable. He can bring peace to all the nations. Just like the Antichrist proclaims to do. You know? And I'll get into it after I finish reading. So from 15 says, even the best of all Goyim, which are non-Jews, should all be killed. That's fucking insane, dude. It's fucking, I don't know how we fucking are just living day to day, da-da-da-da-da, like everything's fucking okay. It's not okay. Nothing is fucking okay, and the longer we just sit and wait, everything's gonna go to shit. And if nobody says anything about any of this, they're gonna win. Well, they won't win, because Christ will come and destroy the Antichrist and throw him and the prophet into the fiery burning lake of sulfur. And it literally says that he will make the Jews sit at your feet and look. And I think the wording is, they will know that I have loved you. He will make them sit at your feet and acknowledge that I have loved you. That's the wording. So we will be okay. But the only way we'll be okay is if we don't accept the mark of the beast. See, in Scripture, and I should have wrote this down, but in Scripture it says that whoever accepts the mark of the beast is going to suffer, and it's going to be tormented with plagues and all sorts of different things. And people who died but did not take the mark of the beast are going to be revived, and this is going to be the first resurrection with the people and everything. But and then we will reign with Christ for 1,000 years. But the Talmud, so I wrote some things down about what the Talmud says about Jesus. The Talmud says that Jesus is a fool and someone who performs black magic, and that Mary is a whore. It also says that Jesus deserved death, and that he was an idolater and a blasphemer, and that he is burning in hellfire and in shit, or excrement, yeah. But that's fucking crazy. So how could we be supporting Israel? Like, how could a real fucking advocate for Christ be saying, yeah, and then the fucking anti-Semitic laws that are being enforced, it's becoming completely illegal to say anything about what's going on, you know? And if this even, like, reaches the attention of multiple people, I mean, great. You know, that's the whole point of this. Is people need to be aware that Christ is real, and that he has been pinpointing and pointing out that these are evil people, and that this has been going on, and that the only thing that's reliable is him. And that's why he delivered prophecy to John. He delivered prophecy to John to show that when these times come, he is the way, he is credible, he is the truth, you know? And at this point in time, you know, it's going to be like fucking Armageddon. It's going to be awful, you know, when shit starts to really hit the fan. Destruction comes, and it's, you know, we see gas prices going up. If you go to Logan Minsky on Facebook, I prophesized that the United States of America's economy was going to crash and everything was going to be destroyed, you know. God had delivered to me that we were going to go through a famine that was the result of a war, and that famine was going to also lead to a civil war, and people were going to be killing for resources and all sorts of other things. But this will be the time, and there will be no power either because of World War III. There will be no power because I don't want to say Russia because I'm not entirely certain. But our power will go out. Something will happen, and our power will go out, and we will have no access to money or anything else. But you should. I also have a video that talks about this very thing. I put it out on there, so you can just look on there. But yeah. So based on this, not only do the Jews deny the Son, they spew hate of the Son. But in the Bible, in Revelation, Jesus says that the Jews are the synagogue of Satan and that they are liars. Okay. But not only that, but sacrificing children and committing sexual immorality with them was a common practice in Jewish history. It's also a common practice on the Epstein Island. Jeffrey Epstein was an Israeli spy working for Israel, helping them traffic and eat children, and helped Israel control the American government. It also is worth noting that the Epstein files say that there are a lot of right-wing Christians that are obsessed with the mark of the beast. And the exact thing, you could just go on to the DOJ Epstein library and type in Mark of the Beast, and you scroll down to the last thing there. But it's also the link, the PDF file. It's dataset 9, and it's EFTA 00703319.pdf, and then yeah, you get the rest of it. But the mark of the beast is the Star of Remphan, or the Star of David. That is geometrically 666. And at this point in time, we see a lot of it literally, I quoted it. I quoted what it said in the thing. It says, a lot of right-wing Christians support... Oh, wait. Oh, I already read it. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so... The Star of David is geometrically 666, and at this point in time, we see a lot of right-wing Christians support Israel. It is also worth noting that Donald Trump is not only Jewish, but owns 666th Fifth Avenue, New York. But on top of Trump's, okay, sorry. Okay, so this is the other connection. So, on the 66th floor of Trump Tower, there, in Donald Trump's penthouse, there is a mural of Apollo invading heaven. The angel of destruction is the dragon. It's the serpent that was in heaven that was casted down onto the earth. It's the thing that rebelled against Michael. Okay? So this is the biggest aspect, is Donald Trump has a mural of Apollo invading heaven. And if he has a mural of Apollo invading heaven, he gets his power from Israel, and they adopt a star that is associated. Well, I mean, I guess really, the Jewish religion now is completely tainted with sexual immorality and all the things of wickedness and evil, but yeah, so he gets his power from Israel, and so does anybody in the U.S. So it's ironic when it says many antichrists has come, but this is how you know it'll be the last hour. And it explains that they will come out from us, will not be of us. For if they were of us, they would have remained with us, but their actions showed that none of them belonged to us. And so this is the key part, is Donald Trump ruled once, and then rules again, and he has power over the rest, and he has power over 10. And, oh my gosh, it's so hot. It's so hot. Okay. I forgot what I was saying. Hold on. Oh, okay, so this is the biggest aspect. So, if, in fact, Israel is rebuilding a third temple, and they have nominated Donald Trump as the Prince of Peace, and have given him all of these peace awards, and have looked at him like this great saint, but their religion denies the Son, and looks at him like a fool, and somebody who is burning in hell, and rotting in shit. That's what the Jews think of Jesus. And if we're immensely supporting Israel the way we are, and Israel controls the government, but yet they are all giving Trump praise and glory, then they're getting that's a exact representation of Satan giving, because they're the synagogue of Satan. So Satan and the people who advocate for Satan and his ways are giving this man all their power and authority to wage war against God's holy people. It's happening right now. Now the other thing is in Scripture it says that I seen a white horse, and its rider had a bow, and it was sent out to conquer, out on conquest or something like that. What happened in 2024 Olympics? There was a symbolic thing where there was a horse walking out, right, and it had a rider with a bow. And people got mad and all the crucial stuff because it was symbolic to the Bible, right? That happened in 2024. 2025 rolls around, and Donald Trump comes. And it's crazy because the symbolicness is that the bow has no arrows. If the bow has no arrows, then he's going to come in the name of peace, without actual fucking ammunition. But he will actually conquer everything, and he will be bent out on conquest. And we look at Donald Trump. He came out proclaiming peace, proclaiming that he's this advocate of Christ that is going to bring peace to all the nations. He's going to make America great again. And then he comes in and he says he's going to stop all the war and do all these crazy things. And then we look at him and he invades Venezuela, and it doesn't matter what it was for, because at the end of the day, That's what he's doing. He is coming out and he's going out on conquest and he's conquering places, even his closest allies. You know? But, anyways, I'll continue reading. But yeah. There is a mural, I wrote it down, but I went on a monologue of it, but I'm going to read it on here. Is a mural of Apollo invading heaven. Apollo is the angel of destruction in the Bible that comes up from the abyss and leads the world to destruction. This angel is Satan, and this angel is the Antichrist spirit that controls the Antichrist. So basically, it's the Antichrist spirit, Satan, the adversary, the thing that ultimately opposes God in every way, that wants to be like God in every way, will control the Antichrist figure, or will... The way I look at it is the man, it's like the angel in human form. It's like Satan in human form, just like how Jesus is God in human form in a sense. But the thing is with AI, is we've created something, man has created something in its image. God created us in his image, but we created something in our image. And so AI is something that is in our image. Now, this is something I didn't write, but I'm going to say it. ChatGPT has a hexagon in the center of it, which geometrically is 6. It has 6 sides and 6 points in the center. But if you also mirror it, if you take 2 of the same image and you mirror one of them and put them together, it makes the Star of David. And I don't know if I just said this or not, but it's the most commonly used AI. Okay. And if it's got the Star of David and it is an image that has the ability to speak, it could definitely work on the behalf of, or something like another AI. It doesn't have to necessarily be ChatGPT, but I'm using that as an example because obviously their symbolism, their geometry ties back to that kind of thing. But yeah, the angel is the Antichrist spirit that controls the Antichrist figure, the man of lawlessness. Another connection to Trump being this figure is that he ruled once and rules again. And if you, okay, so then this is my other thing is it said in scripture that I think it's either the dragon, the beast that you saw, or the angel that you saw is the 8th king, and that 8th king was a king who once was, now is not, and yet will come. But if I probably said it throughout the video at some point, so you could probably look back, or just after hearing this, read Revelation. And now I had to put this together as a conclusive summary, because the way that Revelation is set up is really weird. There's not like a chronological order. It's like all these events happening at a similar time frame to a similar time frame, majority of it. Like Revelation 1 to fucking, I want to say 18 is like, there's all these crazy things and all these trumpets and everything that happen, but it's all going on in this 3.5 year span and all this. And then we have the Antichrist, the man of, which is the man of lawlessness. I think that every time it mentions a times and a half a time, or 42 months, or 3.5 years, it's all in that same 3.5 years that the Antichrist rules, which is almost a full presidency. Now, I also prophesized that Donald Trump is the last president. I don't know if I said it or not, but that was something I probably should have said or clarified. Donald Trump is the last president. Okay, but yeah. But if you take each letter, the word beast, like B being 2, and go on, so on and so forth. If you add all the numbers together, it makes the number 47 when you add each number of each letter together, that where it fits in line of the alphabet, B being the second letter of the alphabet, etc. I just said that, but I don't know. But it makes him 47, and it's ironic because Donald Trump is the 47th president. And if you take the word beast and you take each letter of the word and assign it to the number of letters in the alphabet, you get 47. And Donald John Trump is the 47th president of the United States. He is the beast who once was and yet will come. He's also born on the 6th month of the year, which is June. Since Israel is the synagogue of Satan and Israel controls the U.S. and Israel has nominated Trump as the Prince of Peace, which is Messiah status. So the Prince of Peace is their Messiah. They're granting him Messiah status. And give praise to him. This is the exact representation, Satan giving a man power and authority. The third temple is Satan's throne. Okay, so then this is just another coincidence. Or, I guess, there's a lot of things that tie to Donald Trump with the number 666. Trump's grandmother died June 6th of 1966. So 666. In 2016, Trump held exactly 666 delegates after winning the Florida primary on March 15th. Trump's penthouse is on the 66th floor. Given the factor that Donald John Trump is Jewish, and the Jews deny the Son and believe he is a bastard who is burning in shit, and that Jews are above, and then the other thing is, and I probably said this already before, but when Revelation in certain scriptures that say that the Antichrist will proclaim that he is superior, that's what the Jews believe. The Jews straight up believe that they're superior, they're more entitled or more over the Gentiles, the non-Jews. And so anytime that, given the factor that he is Jewish, he is automatically through the how do I want to say this? Given the fact that he presents himself through Judaism and through his support through Israel, he is automatically at that point proclaiming himself to be superior because that's what his religion teaches. So it doesn't contradict anything. So I'm saying, like, these aspects, all these aspects of what's going on don't contradict anything. They go together in every way. Yeah, but anyways, I wrote okay, and then anything that Trump would say about Christ or being an advocate for Christ would be blasphemous and slander against the Most High, the holy people, and those who dwell in heaven, which is exactly what the Antichrist does. Another key factor is, and this is the last thing I wrote, and there's probably more I should clarify on, but with everything that's been provided, this sounds like if you just take the narrative, so after I read all the verses, and then you listen to the narrative I've put before you even say the word Donald Trump, it sounds like Donald Trump. It literally sounds like Donald Trump. Now, it gets to the point where there's events at this point in time that haven't happened yet, but are going to come. They are going to come. But the events now, it's like a trap, kind of. So the Mark of the Beast system is also like a trap. So what'll happen is when sudden destruction comes, it'll pose a threat to this image that he's created of himself, that he is this advocate for Christ, that he is unstoppable, that he can do anything, you know. When sudden destruction comes, he's going to be scared. Now, there's going to be people who are deceived. They believe the lie and will believe anything he says and will believe anything that image says that is in honor of him. So when that happens, some are going to blindly give in to the beast system because they have so much faith into this figure that is of God, right? Some are going to not want to, okay? And it says in Scripture that whoever did not receive the mark will be killed. So some are going to be scared, they're going to be trapped because they're trying to survive. And if they're put in a position where they're going to be killed, or they have to have money for their children so they can eat, and they don't understand what's the full complexity of what's going on, they're going to be trapped into giving into the mark of the beast. And some will be killed. Some will be... Some will completely deny it, holding their temple higher for God, and allowing and not allowing Satan to overtake God's temple or overtake their will that has been given to them from God. Hold on. Oh yeah, I was talking about giving over the will. But basically, like how Satan rebelled against God in heaven, he wanted to be like God, and so he tried to destroy and kill God, but he couldn't, and he was cast out of heaven. So now when he's on the earth, he's going to try to do the very same thing. He's going to try to know what everybody's thinking and feeling. In that moment, he's going to want to know what's happening on every aspect of every way. That way he can be like God in every way and be worshipped like God in every way. But then the other connection is Jared Kushner, which is Donald Trump's son-in-law. He bought 666 Fifth Avenue for $1.8 billion, which is 600 mil times 3. So it's 600 mil plus 600 mil plus 600 mil, which is 666. But yeah, so I mean, time will tell with what's going on, but everyone needs to be wary of this, that Donald Trump is probably either directly either the Antichrist himself or is associated with him in a very close way. But based on what I provided, I wholeheartedly believe that Donald Trump is the Antichrist. So the biggest aspect here is to remain diligent with Christ, to remain diligent with God, because as long as we remain diligent with God and we do not accept the mark of the beast, we will be revived and will reign with Christ for 1,000 years.